Hello, welcome to the conversation in News Central Television. This program will bring you up to speed with all the political happenings on the African continent. I am Gbenga Aborowa.
And I'm Rita Omodia. On the African continent, we're seeing the Pope Francis now visiting the African continent, DRC and the South Sudan. And a lot of talks have been going on around what the political scene, talks for reconciliation, stop for exploitation, DRC, and of course a whole host of others. Now on today's edition of the conversation, we'll be taking you through happenings in Eastern Africa, where Tanzania's Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, has come under scrutiny after President Samia Suluhu earlier this week revealed that much of the money that was collected by the DPP through plea bargaining agreements for the past years cannot be traced.
And in Zimbabwe, the country's main opposition group, the Citizens Coalition for Change, says it's bracing for a surge in violence from the ruling party and state institutions ahead of this summer's general elections in the country.
And we've had this conversation over and over. Earlier on, we had a spokesperson of Democratic Republic. We also had a spokesperson of ZANU-PF, all complaining, or rather all talking about the processes gearing up to the elections. And, you know, the ZANU-PF said, we don't have anything against the opposition. Meanwhile, the opposition is claiming that Emerson Mnangagwa and, of course, the ZANU-PF is hunting down on opposition parties. And in our last conversation, we know that they released members of the opposition parties from detention.
So interesting developments in Zimbabwe. There are also elections in Nigeria and, of course, Liberia this year. So much to look forward to. But let's begin in Tanzania, where President Samia Suluhu has put a spotlight on the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions after she made a shocking revelation that much of the money collected from plea bargaining agreements through the DPP was unaccounted for. The president, while speaking in Dodoma on Tuesday, revealed that the government was investigating a bank in China where the monies were allegedly stashed away.
This is not the first time misappropriation of funds in the government coffers has been detected. In 2020, the government controller and auditor general, Charles Kichiri, raised concerns and exposed hints of corruption in the Tanga port expansion project, misuse of public resources through overpayments, payments without contract, payments without actual delivery of services or goods, among others. According to the Director of Public Prosecutions Act 1990, the Director of Public Prosecutor has the power to conduct, supervise and enforce the prosecution of criminal cases. And now joining us for this conversation, we have Emmanuel Phalet, Ukashu, advocate, Tanzania High Court. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation.
Thank you too. You're welcome.
Yeah. And now you're hearing talks of the President Samia Suluhu, and she talked about plea bargaining agreements and talks about corruption and money not accounted for. So can you tell us more about these plea bargaining agreements and what sort of cases actually involve this agreement?
Okay. First of all, I want to say that plea bargaining is a modality of a criminal nature whereby a person who has been accused of an offense goes to court and is an arrangement that is made out of court in relation to the agreement with the DPP office who is in charge of doing criminal matters or prosecuting criminal matters as per our constitution and as per our National Prosecution Act and the plea bargaining rules. And after you have agreed that you have been committed an offense or you are accused of or suspected, you need to get out because you are not in bail, then you agree now I will pay the amount that I'm charging, if it's US dollars, how much and how much you are being charged of. You are paying and then you go to sign the agreement. In this new process, the court is not involved. The court is only involved at the final stage whereby you come after you agree and you settle the agreement. Now, this development arises in the 2019, whereby our criminal nature is put as from another nature of angle of criminal plea bargaining. And the nature of cases that are plea bargaining are all economic. There is no rape, there is no sexual offenses. That's not among, no treason, no what. It's all about economic nature offenses. Money laundering, economic crimes, embezzlement, corruption, and all nature of economic offenses. That's are entitled for plea bargaining. Now, after you do plea bargaining, the DPP is in charge. It collects the money and then it takes them to the governor of the bank or the governor of the central bank. Now, in this process, we have expected that the former DPP was to conduct it in a formal way. It was conducted in the form of criminalizing capitalists in our country. It was formalizing of the way to intimidate people and to collect the money from the accounts of the people in order to threaten the people in their jeopardy or to put them in the censorship. So that it was used in a bad faith. So in the time, it has developed people are collecting a lot of money, DPP, and it was not accounted for. It was not missing anywhere. Some have been allocated in normal offices, secret offices, and everywhere. It was just dismantled. So this is the challenge that emanated, or by definition in Tanzania, that's what is means about the plea bargaining. So the nature of it, it's tricky. It looks like a good faith, but in the other way around, it has got ill malice, or it has got a very bad motive towards conducting such a plea bargaining.
Okay, Emmanuel, let's talk about this case that exposed everything. How long has this been going on for? And how did it come to the attention of Her Excellency President Samia Suluhu Hassan? And also, where is this money supposed to go to? Where are there no red flags? What made it easy for the DPP not to account for these monies?
Okay, the first thing is the Her Excellency President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan came into knowledge when he just climbed to the power or soon into the power. That was in 2021, after the death of our predecessor, is when she came to know that there was a lot of embezzlement in the DPP office and the plea bargaining. And because there was a lot of victims who want to be redeemed back their money, a lot of victims were crying. They have not only been taking the money. There's houses that has been seized, forfeited by the government and the DPP, their cars, there's a lot of property that was seized. So people are coming up in the mass. They need this new regime of Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan to redeem back their properties. It's whereby it comes to attention of Her Excellency that there's something wrong in this office. In the new line, there's a lot of evidence that people had in the banks that was deposited the money. Some were not deposited in the central bank where it has to have a control number to deposit in the private account. That also there was a former president, his late Magufuli, was weaponizing it and colliding with the DPP office. So it was easy to sneak the money because the state apparatus, that was the former president, John Magufuli, the late, was weaponizing it. He was championing it to the DPP. So the DPP got a very strong protection, even gone further to amend the law under the DPP's National Office Act that he has put immunity not be removed from the power. So all this was being done in a conspiratorial manner in relation to the state house that was then headed by the His Excellency Dr. John Pombe Magufuli. So it was not done under the dream. It was done in a very smart manner, and the state was involved by then. So the DPP got all this power because he was communicated by his president, Dr. Magufuli. So everything was done was in control of Dr. Magufuli. That's why it was easy to see the money to China, to see everywhere. That's the naked truth that everybody can see around it. But coming across that, if you need to pay the plea bargaining, you have to pay under the control number that is issued by the treasurer, and you have to pay the money to the central bank, Bank of Tanzania, not in your private account. But this money will be taken to the private account. They are loitering around to cash. Some of you can see pictures that the people are bringing dollars in the cash, bringing dollars in the cars. That was very, very misconceived.
Emmanuel, still looking at this, I mean, these allegations are on a very important sector of the country, the Director of Public Prosecutions. I wonder, are there any exact figures as to how much money is unaccounted for from the office of the DPP? And has there been any response from the office of the Department of Public Prosecutor, Director of Public Prosecutions, to these allegations?
First and foremost, that there has not been an exact amount that has been stated that this is the amount that has not been placed to the owner, was not placed to the DPP, to the government, not remitted. There's no actual amount. That's why there is a commission that has been created by the president in relation to, on the other hand, the CAG has to come across and analyze and make an auditor to know that what amount figures exactly has been misplaced to the chain and where has it been around. But coming again, is that the office of DPP, the current DPP is innocent and is not involved in such amount. The former DPP is now a judge. He was appointed to be a judge of the High Court. So the process of being the judge in the Constitution is difficult. That you have to create a tripartite committee that has to be governed by the judges from the Commonwealth countries under the Constitution. You have to make an inquiry. Then after the inquiry, you have to submit to the president, and then the president can initiate the mechanism of dealing with the particular judge as per the constitution of our country, Tanzania. So it's very difficult that the former DPP to respond anything as for now, because if the judge conduct and the judicial officer's conduct, you cannot reply anything else. So that's what is locking him now to respond. But coming to the new DPP who is still in the office, he has not responded anything because I think so he's not aware of what was transpired by his president's successor. So it's the thing is we are all waiting for the commission that has been created by the president of the criminal justice reform in order to make the reports available to the people and to understand what happened, what was it, and the criminal justice, how is the plea bargaining handled, and what the exactly purpose was being used by the former DPP. So this is the challenge that we are facing as for now.
What is the Prevention and Combating for Corruption Bureau, the PCCB, and other public institutions done about this perceived corruption at the DPP? Will they be part of the investigations you just mattered in this committee that will be set up to look into the affairs of the former DPP? And how would you rate Tanzania's corruption perception indices under the presidency of Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan?
Okay, in the first to begin with the later question about the index, that people, first of all, the perception of the PCCB in Tanzania has not done its work properly, in spite of having a very good law, because it has been, even the president in the Tuesday's great speech, she has said that, and I'm quoting that, she said, I'm wondering if the Prevention and Corruption Bureau is doing its work or it's champion corruption, because I wonder how it is to slick around with this important information and to hide the truth in the way it has to be revealed. So can you see that also the president is doubting the machinery of the PCCB. But then again, the perception index in Tanzania corruption, in the fifth regime of late Dr. John Magufuli, the corruption is very high because it was done by few people and it was done in a secret manner and done by the weapon of the government. Coming to Our Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, in these just 2 years of regime, it has lowered down the index. We can say now the corruption in Tanzania has really gone low down to 4 to 5% down, because Our Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan has been very strategical in fighting against corruption, and she does it in a very good manner, in a strategic manner, and in an institutional manner. Because the problem of PCCB is not about the removing the head of state of the bureau, director general. It's about the people, officers in the collaborating offices. So she has also said that. So to my perception, people on that nature, that in the regime of Our Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, at least it has reduced. People are now aware of it, and she's trying to do it. Though it is very, very difficult to deal with corruption in Tanzania, I can say in some points. Coming to the other question that the PCCB involved in this investigation, the answer is no, big no. They are not involved because also the PCCB has got their issues to be attended, and also are also being inquiry for other issues in the machinery, and to know the issues that are done and those who have not been done partly to be performed, and which has been done negligent. So they are not part of this investigation. And it's for good reason the president has said they are also being investigated.
So, Emmanuel, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to go back to one thing you said about the PCCG. Why are they not going to be part of this investigation? Is it that the government feels they're not doing their job well enough, or they feel that even the PCCG is corrupt?
The government feels the PCCB also are conspirators of the corruption, and they're not clean hands to investigate, and also they need to be investigated under the criminal machineries in Tanzania under the commission that has been created by the president. So they're also supposed to be investigated. So they cannot be investigated, others will also be investigated. Because the president wants to come in clearly to know the criminal justice of the country and how to make reform. And one of the sectors to be making a reform is PPCCB, which is a bureau. So at now, they're also a victim in this angle. So they cannot do anything as for now.
No, this is not the first time that this corruption allegations is going for the DPP and even for most of the public sectors in Tanzania. Now, the Controller and Auditor General CAG report for 2020/2021 brought about lots of incriminations on people in the public sector, talking about ministers. It was a full list that happened in 2020 of what the Auditor General said and what has been done to ensure that accountability in the public sector is made possible, and where the recommendations of this this report implemented? I mean, we're in 2023 and there were recommendations of 2020. What has been done with those recommendations?
First and foremost is that the CAG report has been honored and been implemented to some extent, partly, because in 2021, the report was much really focused on the embezzlement and how the money was misplaced, the allocation of budget, people being paid without contract, a lot of misuse, the allocation of budget without approval, and all that. The recommendation, the sector one was Tanzania port, that is TPA, and the president has immediately removed all the TPA stakeholders, the head, and as she has made a reshuffle. Even the last year too, she has made a reshuffle of Director General too, and she has also gone further to implement the CAG report. Furthermore, the other issues of CAG was about the mechanism and the laws. That also the president has also issued some amendment to the parliament. I think so in this federal parliament, there's a lot of enactment of the law that's to be done. Another issue was also to be collected for the ministers. Some of them has to be deliberated in the parliament. I can assure you the parliament is going on in Dodoma, and one of the agendas is to deliberate critical the report of CAG. I think so once they come with the resolution, the president will act from that resolution of the parliament. What to be done, because they will discuss, deliberate, and to make a resolution that if the minister is responsible to collectively responsible resign or to have to be removed from the power, or other organs and institutions to be accountable as the public services conduct and the laws. I think so the parliament will come across with that in this federal parliament session, which is going on in Dodoma. And it has been very hot because there's a lot of things that have been debated by the CAG.
Happy you mentioned the Parliament of the Republic of Tanzania. Last year, there was a proposed reduction for the preparation time of the Controller and Accountant General reports for lawmakers and other stakeholders to analyze it timely. What are your thoughts on this? And do you think the time frame for the preparation of these reports affects its quality and the final output and also its implementation?
I can say that one of the things that we need to exchange or we need to reschedule is about the time framework of CAG. CAG is conducting an annual report, and you cannot, and after that, he has to submit to the president. So the president reads it in a very 14 days, and then takes the parliament for the deliberation. I think so it's very short time. I think we need to do something to reschedule. First of all, to reschedule the session for the parliament, as you see that the long session in the parliament is the budget time. I think so we need to shrink, or we need to scale down the parliament time in order to reschedule to discuss the CAG report and come up with a lot of recommendations. Also, in the term of the president has to be exceeded in order they read the report properly and see what each can do at appropriate time. So, if it is my opinion, take it from me, is that I need the time for CAG to be long for discussion. Or even you can minimize the time for working, but you take more time to discuss the report and to be available to the society, be available to the people, be available in analyzing the cities, in order people to know that how the government is accountable of their public finance and how the project has been accountable and how is it paid. I think that is my idea too, and I buy it that has to be that way. And I think so under the regime of our access with Samia Suluhu, with this track, I think so we are going there. It will be a very open and transparent government, I assure you.
Talking about corruption and, of course, the economy of Tanzania, which is very important. Now, a specialized audit conducted between January 2017 and December 2019 revealed that the Bank of Tanzania, earlier on you talked about lots of things going on in the Bank of Tanzania. Now, it incurred 3.99 billion shillings loss of exchanging defective notes. Now, does the central bank keep records of customers who change defective notes? Because we're looking at corruption in the sector going on. What has been done to make sure that there's proper records of customers who change defective notes?
Oh, first and foremost, in Tanzania, we have got a financial intelligence unit that is entitled to deal with all the criminal nature, such of that nature, which has been suspected that there is a customer who has exchanged defective notes, and all that has been done in the record of the DOT. That matter was making alarming in the fifth regime of His Excellency late John Pombe Magufuli, and the late president issued that matter to the financial intelligence unit. But I say until now, there's nothing that has been taken or unveiled any report about what happened or what transpired in that angle. There is still an alarming thing that is still crying. We are still blaming that why this matter being attended. But Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu, she has promised she will go back there and look what transpired, and she will create a very proper commission to deal with that thing appropriate and to be advised proper how to deal with it. Because dealing with BOT or central bank is very sensitive and nature of it and the way how it was done. But I know it will be done promptly. Maybe after the financial year of this budget, maybe we can come back there to see what happened. But the Financial Intelligence Unit has not revealed any report so far.
Emmanuel, and if you can in less than a minute, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is required to make prosecutorial decisions on a professional basis, independent of political influence or control. How would you rate Tanzania's judicial system, and of course with highlight on the prosecution system in terms of fair trial and thorough prosecution of offenders?
Okay, I can rate the judiciary. First of all, now the judiciary is independent. In the sixth regime of Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu, we say proudly and confident that our judiciary now is independent, compared to the fifth regime whereby the Excellency President said that the judiciary has to win the case in order the government to get money. That was a very awkward statement in the independence of the judiciary. But now the judiciary is very independent, and I'm majestically speaking of that. Coming to the prosecution, it has been a very rotten press. It has been a disease that has been syndicalized for so long. And due to that fact, now the IXS with Samia Suluhu has said that we need to reform that press in the criminal justice. So in the matter of how we are reforming now, I think so we are now making a progress. Not that much, but I think so we are making a progress in relation to that. Compared to others, because there are a lot of people having a face with unbearable offenses. A lot of people were not bailed in the jail, but in the regime of Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu, now there's a lot of people are being bailed, and we are enacting a new law and they are amending the bad laws in criminal justice that were passed by Magufuli. So I think so we'll be moving ahead. Maybe this question, when it comes in the next month, I think so it will be very, very inevitable that things have changed. Critical, as you know, we have opened the judiciary and the annual year of the judiciary.
Thank you so much for your time, Emmanuel Phalet, Ukashu, advocate at Tanzania High Court, for your time and insight and the program. We do appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and God bless you.